And another thing here, Leland, if you're still here, this
Yes.
is very beneficial that we use AI to outsource everything that's administrative to AI. So this way, we stop being named as people who are delivering administrative activities and projects. So I totally outsource that to AI and get focused on with bringing influence with the stakeholders.
Thank you. Yeah, that's good advice.
Sahar has a question.
Yeah.
Sahar, you're most welcome.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. It was very interesting. So I have a very simple question. Since hailing from a third world country, you can say, I've seen, like, even as for an economist myself, um, these are terminologies that I've heard for the first time: P3M or PMO. If I have to explain the difference, like,
Yeah.
what is a PMO, what is a P3M? Because majority, I don't think so that if I've gone to
Yeah.
an organization, I've heard these words from anyone. I've been having a difficulty explaining it to them. So in a very simplistic language, how would I explain it in this country? What a PMO is, what a P3M is, what's the difference between them? Why an organization needs it?
Okay. So let me give you in the simplest way possible. P3Ms are basically, P3 stands for projects, program, portfolios. So we have
Mm-hmm.
projects, programs, and portfolio managers. Project managers are executors of methodologies. They have a
Mm-hmm.
project to deliver. They have scope, time, and cost, three variables that they have to measure. They have to
Mm-hmm.
monitor at the same time and deliver projects. A group of related projects becomes a program with the
Mm-hmm.
same definition that they have to make sure scope, time, cost is managed across the projects that they are delivering. They have
Mm-hmm.
different KPIs, project managers and program managers, and
Mm-hmm.
portfolio managers work with the strategy. So
Okay.
they have projects that come in, they have programs that are proposed to be delivered. Their job is
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that the projects and programs are aligned with the organizational strategy. And if they are
Mm-hmm.
not, they can say no. So those are portfolio managers. So the
Okay.
three of them combined are executors of methodologies and best practices to make sure projects are delivered and they bring value to the organization. So
Mm-hmm.
now comes PMOs. PMOs are service providers as
Mm-hmm.
compared to project managers who are methodology executors. So we have
Mm-hmm.
P3M as process people, and we have
Got
PMOs as service people. So
it. Mm-hmm.
PMOs are delivering services to the organization like stakeholder management, conflict management, risks management, and many others, around 24, 25 services. One of
Mm-hmm.
them is the uh, methodology customization that they do for project managers as well. So
Okay.
I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that I drive a car, okay, and I keep telling
Right.
myself that look how good I drive, right? Am I the
Right.
right person to identify that I'm a good driver?
No.
I'm not. There should be an authority, and that's normally the traffic police or some organization
Mm-hmm.
that verifies that you know what this person has a license, he is following the rules to drive a car, and yes, he's
Mm-hmm.
doing a good job. He's safe. So that's the role of a PMO while they're working with P3Ms. So PMOs are not the managers of P3Ms. The same
Mm-hmm.
concept. The traffic police is not my manager when I drive a car.
Mhm.
Right.
So PMOs very make sure that the services are there and the methodologies that are being executed by the P3Ms are monitored really well. So
Right.
this is
Okay.
the difference. I hope I was able to explain.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, very well. So what
Yeah.
what have you observed in difference in terms of a country like Pakistan and, let's say, Saudi Arabia or any other, country? What's the difference between the execution and, of the demarcation of PMOs, and how much do you think organizations, big organizations, are aware that there needs to be
Yeah.
certain guidelines, and there needs to be following of these certain regulations, and there needs to be monitoring when it comes to handling these projects? So what's your prerogative on this? What's your analysis?
Mhm.
Actually, you asked a very good question, Sahar. I have been working for the last few months on a worldwide initiative on
Mm-hmm.
PMO maturity benchmarking. And
Right.
if any one of you would like to assess the maturity of their PMO, you're most welcome to contact me. We can do a free assessment for you to assess the maturity of your PMO. But I'll tell you as an example that what's happening in my experience. I believe that in the last 10 years, there is a lot of changes that have been done in the domain of PMOs. PMOs that we started back in 2004, 2003 are not the same now. Now, PMOs are value delivery departments to the organization. They are not just executors anymore. So in small organizations, you may find there is no demarcation. You may find a PMO manager who is delivering at the same time. So he is driving a car and at the same time measuring his driving skills.
Right.
So
Yes.
in large organizations here in GCC, and I've worked across with GCC countries and in Pakistan as well, I find there is a demarcation.
Mm-hmm.
There is a demarcation that's happening. However, it's still contextualized. You find the demarcation very well done in big organizations, not very well defined in the small to medium scale, and in
Mm-hmm.
small organizations, not at all. So the projects get delivered. There is no measurement of or a dashboarding on the quality of delivery. The quality of delivery is directly connected to financials. So all of that is just it's a matter of time. I think in the next few years we will find, especially with AI that's coming in, that a lot of PMOs will be wiped out. You may not find PMOs anymore because everyone and anyone who is doing administrative PMO services will be replaced by AI agents because that's much simpler to be done. So
Mm-hmm.
PMOs will have to adapt and evolve once again, just like we did right after COVID. We had to
Right.
be digitally transformed to be
Mm-hmm.
sustainable, to still be valuable. And now this is another evolution that's coming for us, and we have to change in order for this profession to be sustainable. Dr.
Definitely.
Tony, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, no, I am completely with you. If we don't change, the world is changing every day, so it's not
Yeah,
static, and we need to change and adapt. But I have a question that we were talking before we started this session. So
yeah.
how long does it take to build interpretation capability? That's something that you discussed in the model that you presented.
Okay. Interpretation capability comes with reflection and exposure, in my understanding. It's not something that we learn in a certification course that we do. Interpretation capability is the more exposed the PMOs and the P3Ms are to projects of different nature, different domains, the more understanding they have on the complexities of execution. And they should have time to reflect on these changes. So the best time to do that is after a project is delivered. They should have a lessons learned seminar or a conference, bring in the PMOs and have that as a discussion. Because a few years back, I would just share this about myself. I used to have something called the PMO document archive. And recently, over the last 5, 6 years, I realized that that was the death of PMO learning, having something called an archive. It should be a living knowledge management place where there should be best practices extracted, good practices extracted, shared across with the PMOs. And what made that easy for us is AI.
Mhm.
So if we train our models on the projects that we have delivered, those can become knowledge management agents for us rather than documents archive. Because once a document is archived, it's necessarily dead. Nobody will open it again.
It
I
very,
hope I was able to answer.
yeah, thank you. So, any other question from the audience? So, you had a good example to define the project management office or portfolio management office. I like to use the example of the airports, the traffic air traffic controller, the tower that
Yeah,
controls all the planes and flights. So the
yeah,
PM is like that. So they are not the pilot, they are not the
yeah,
owners of the airplanes,
true.
the airlines are. So
Yeah,
the traffic control tower is responsible for to save the life of the to the passenger.
Save the life. Exactly.
Pilots,
Very
yeah.
right. Very right metaphor. Very right metaphor.
Yeah. So, any other question from the audience? And thank you everyone for participating. It's a good question. So I have another one. So I have a list of questions here. And one of them is, how do executives contribute to confusion instead of clarification?
Once again,
How do the
how do executives?
executives contribute to confusion?
Oh, it's a pet activity of executives. Sometimes the projects are in complicated stages, and we are delivering. We are working very hard, and sudden change in the team structure by the executives without informing the PMOs takes the environment to complex. The same thing happens with requirements changes. So whenever we are delivering a tough project, that may be construction, that may be aviation related, and if the executives suddenly change those variables for us, it at once the PMO falls into complexity because all the plans have to be redone, assumptions have to be changed, new people have to be trained. So that's what executives do that kills projects realities. This happens, by the way, and this is one of the things that PMOs have to learn. They have to adapt, they have to evolve, and they have to learn how to deal with such situations. Strong PMOs, normally what they do is that they lock in the teams, they lock in the requirements. But now what I see because of AI and the changes, political changes which are coming in, even locking would not be an option. They have to remain flexible and they have to learn to negotiate well. And trade-offs is the main thing. So if you give something to the business as a change request to the project that will require extra effort from your side, you need to have a trade-off. So this is what I'm trying to write about as well. That what should be those trade-offs which are beneficial to the organization and at the same time beneficial to the project.
Right, definitely. Yeah, you mentioned something that is interesting and scary about the future and how AI may take over our jobs as a PMO manager, PMO director.
Yeah.
So, so what is the piece of advice that you have for all the PMO leaders out there to protect their jobs? Because if the organization is starting shutting down, we already have some bad reputation that usually PMO lasts 2 years or less.
Yes, there has
So,
been some study about it.
and you mentioning that the future is that more PMOs will be shut
Vanished.
down.
I believe they will be wiped out.
Oh, wow.
And I think they will be wiped out are those PMOs who are administrative PMOs.
Yeah.
And I see most of the PMOs as administrative PMOs, whereas if you see outside in the world, there is PhD happening in universities on PMOs, value disciplines. We have seen organizations come up with value delivery models that are far past behind the administrative skills of PMOs.
Right.
Because I believe that we can build an AI agent. That AI agent can quickly generate for me the weekly report on my projects without my intervention. Maybe a review from my side is required, and it delivers. Normally, it takes a PMO 2 days 2 days at least to prepare the weekly PMO report in which he compiles or she compiles all the project's data and everything, all the risks, all the project's information from the running projects and presents that to executives. All of that could be done with AI agents now. So
Right.
that is, I still believe that AI will disrupt this domain really fast. Reporting will be done with AI agents, meetings preparation, meetings recording, documents archiving, documents generation. All of that would be done with AI, and PMOs jobs will be redefined to be stakeholder oriented, more towards the business, bringing in influence. Because at the end of the day, let me give you a small example. The business can demand project to be done, and the project is aligned with the organizational strategy. It's part of the portfolio.
Mhm.
But who understands that how this project will be delivered the right way? Is it deliverable? Do we have the resources? Do we have the skill set to deliver such a project? Do we have the capacity? It's the PMO. So this job will become more and more about working with stakeholders, working with people, teaching them how to define the requirements. Now, have you ever seen dreamy requirements from executives? We see that a lot, by the way. We receive RFPs in which you are just holding your head that these are requirements which are dreamy, cannot be delivered in a limited amount of time. And in those cases, I engage actively with the stakeholders. I spend time with them. I help them define. I help them prioritize. The most important thing is that I help them bring clarity to their work. Because the stakeholders, sometimes you will find they have differences among each other on
Mhm.
projects definitions. So that's something very important that PMOs will have to learn and start to practice in their work.
So, well, from your organization, so what requests do you get most frequently? But let me say another things because, for example, I am a PMO manager or PMO director. And my role
Yeah.
have been more in a supporting kind of things, or maybe a controlling PMO. So now
Okay.
the organization, they are biased because they know me as a supportive. They don't see me in the role that you are explaining to be more strategic. So how can we overcome that? Because it will be hard for people that you work for a company unless you switch jobs and you go into another organization. They wanna see the new Muhammad that he's a strategic. But if you were in a company for 5, 10 years, they
Mm.
already have I would say, a profile of you. So how
Yeah.
can you wipe out forget about the old Tony? I am a new
Yeah.
Tony. I am a strategy. So have you had that situation?
I have had those situations, and I have tried many ways in treating those situations, and I think I don't have an expert answer, but I have a pathway. The pathway is that you don't go to the C levels in the very beginning and tell them that I am a new person. I want these values and these principles to be delivered in the PMO. It starts with departments, the departments that the PMO is serving, the peers. So it's something called a handshake. You make sure you meet departments. It takes influencing.
Mhm.
It takes like, some days to let them understand that, listen, your project's success rate is 40% on an
Mhm.
annual basis. I am not your manager. I am not the director of your department. I'm here to work with you to improve this success rate. How will I do it? Not by more reporting. I'll work with you on the objectives to make them achievable.
Mhm.
So you do this handshake department by department, and then you will have to do some conferences in the organization with the C levels as listeners. You have to go to them as listeners because at the end of the day, the PMOs have always to look around and not look up. Because where is the value that PMOs bring? They bring value to their colleagues and to their departments they work with. If they are going to work for the C levels, they will never be achieving that because the departments will not be supporting it. So that's what I believe in. I believe that you have to work with the stakeholders, start showing benefits, results, short
Right,
results, milestones, and they see your value and they will become your champions.
right. Well,
I'm,
yeah, deliver results and also uh, telling people what you're doing. So sometimes you require a little bit of marketing. So,
yeah,
so what I can interpret is like we need to become a master of relationship. So
yes,
that's I feel
people
because
management.
it's no more certification, it's no more reading books. Is to learn, improve your communication skills, improves your business acumen to understand the real needs of the
Yeah.
business, and be a master of relationships, networking.
Master of relationships, being a supportive role to the departments to help them achieve success on their projects
Right.
and not taking the credit for their projects. Let them be successful in delivery of their projects. I think that's valuable. PMOs should never, by the way, I refuse in most cases the idea of PMOs presenting the organization's projects to the C levels.
Mhm.
I advise the project managers to do it themselves. So the
Definitely.
PMOs are supporting them, but they should not be the ones promoting the success of others to the C levels. This is something that's important to be, and
Definitely.
this is how organizations mature and PMOs become more integrated, never be siloed, try never be siloed in an organization. I know those changes are not that simple, but it requires discussion, influencing, showing the benefit to the departments that we work with, showing them the benefit
Right.
and letting them and helping them succeed over a period of time when they see that yes, my department's results, my project succeeded, they will become supportive of your definition of PMO. There is one more thing, so Dr. Tony. I wanted to add that in most organizations that I've worked with, there is no concept of publishing a service catalog. PMOs work, but they do not publish a service catalog. I believe PMOs have to publish every quarterly basis an updated service catalog and market their services to the organization. That would be beneficial, and the organizations will start to see slowly that, you know what, this is what the PMO can do. This is the other things the PMO can do. Why are we using them on this administrative function only? This
Mhm.
is not what they were designed for.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you need to manage the PMO as a business unit.
yeah,
In some organization, you have the chargeback system
yeah,
implemented that you charge for the services. So the implementing a catalog, so you serving because you're selling you're selling services, and those has a cost, and somebody need to pay for that. It's like a IT. I remember when I started in IT in the 80s, IT was only a support unit, a cost
support
center,
function,
and then
cost,
transitioning to be a profit center. So where all the chargeback system, if you use my services, you pay for my services. That's
yeah,
how IT became now
the
the C
profit
level.
center.
Organization,
Yeah.
they have a CTO or they have a CIO. But
Yes,
but it started the same way as a supporting unit. Nobody care about it. They only is the data processor. But
the IT
now
guy. Yeah,
IT, with all the digital transformation that happening around the world, so IT is the business. So that's we need to lead as a business people and connect
yeah.
with it. I think
And that happens by showing benefit to the organization.
definitely. I think that I have time for one more question from the audience. I would like to hear from you.
Yeah.
I have one more question. Nobody? Okay. If you don't have any more questions, so I appreciate your time, Mohammed, for your wisdom, sharing the framework. And I also invite all the attendees and people listening to this recording that reach out to Mohammed, you always posting something in the LinkedIn, so the newsletter. So you put a lot of work there to share the knowledge and experience. And also
Yes.
the organization offers some services that
Yeah.
the people can reach out to you also for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tony, for arranging this. Appreciate it.
Well, uh, happy holidays for those one that celebrate. Is we approaching the time to reflect and we need to do it better. In 2026, we have another year that is coming. So prepare yourselves, get ready, be open-minded, flexible, because the world will require those kind of leaders. Thank you everyone for attending, and thank you very much for your time today. It was
Thank you
very,
again, Dr. Tony, and everyone else.
thank
Bye.
you. Bye.